Hello everybody, welcome to week 2. I guess we're, golly, almost more than halfway through week 2. But anyway, I hope you all are doing great. I just wanted to touch base with the class and talk about a few things and then talk a little bit about the content in chapters 1 and 2. Make sure we're all on the same page with what you ought to be getting out of those chapters. So first of all, I just wanted to mention that I'm going to try again this term to use email with Blackboard. So if you need to reach me, feel free to email me or send course messages um, out of Blackboard, or you can send email not through Blackboard as well. But just be advised, I've had trouble with email being sent through Blackboard in the past. Particularly what has happened is that I would send a message, an email message through Blackboard, and students would respond to me, and I would never see their responses, and so they could never really figure out why. So I just stopped using it. So I would like to try it again. I'm hoping that these recent updates to the software package have resolved that glitch. So we'll see. But if you're trying to reach me and you've sent me an email and I'm not answering, it's likely then because I haven't gotten your. All right. So enough about that. Regarding project groups, this is the time to be solidifying who you want to be working with. So please do put yourself in a group if you can at all, if it's possible, and fill out a team profile form. The point with the team profile forms is that I'd like to have some assurance that everybody in your group knows how to reach everybody else in the group, and that y'all are talking a little bit about how to structure the organization for how the work's going to get done with the project. So there's a project guideline document in the group project folder under resources in Blackboard that might help you kind of think through how you want to organize yourselves. I had a call today from a student who had that question, and so we talked a little bit. And if it were up to me, I think if it were up to me, what I would do is I would have the group sharing in the market research, and then split up the writing of the different sections of the report. But the market research really is going to drive a lot of information that goes into this project. So situational analysis, competition, trends in the industry, what Kellogg is up to, what their mission statement is, a lot of those things. And they're just going to be really important, and that's perhaps the bulk of the work. So anyway, that's my 2 cents on that. There is a Dropbox in the week 2 folder for you to submit your team profile form to. So I'll look for those. I had a glitch with one of the sections of the class, the 3340-70 section. I didn't do something right when I set up that Dropbox, and so I only received one, and everybody in the class could see it. I was trying to work with the group parameter in that tool, and I didn't understand how to do it right. So anyway, I've set up a new Dropbox in that particular section, and so I'll be looking for your team profile form. So please make sure that you can see that you've sent me your form in there, and I will communicate back with you at the end of the week to let you know what I'm seeing from everybody. All right, so let's see. I want to speak to a cool tool that Cengage offers. It's called the Interactive Marketing Plan, and it's available through the Cengage.com website, or Cengage Brain. Perhaps you might have to go find it there. And I think I'll put together a separate little video to show you how to get to that. But it's a neat tool, and it really is something that will walk you through how to put together a marketing plan. Might be really helpful for you this term. All right, so I'd like to just kind of talk real quick, not in any depth, but just as an overview of what you're going to see in chapters 1 and 2, and what I think are the most important points to pull out of those 2 chapters. So if I can get my screen to change here. All right, so for chapter 1, the biggest definitions in my mind are these at the top here. What is marketing? How does the American Marketing Association define it? How does our book define it? What's a target market, and what is a marketing mix? And so please be sure you can define those particular terms at the end of reading chapter 1. Chapter 1 is going to talk about how marketing is all about creating value for potential consumers in order to facilitate an exchange of some kind. So traditionally or most commonly an exchange is going to mean you go to the store and you put down money on the counter and you, in exchange, get some kind of a product or a service for your money. There are other kinds of things of value that can be exchanged, but that's the main one. And so, so understand what that's all about. Stakeholders has to do with all of the various parties that are going to be impacted by your marketing activities. And so it's not necessarily just the consumer. It may be society at large. It may be the environment. It may be political proponents or advocacy groups. So anymore, when you're dealing with marketing efforts, you really do have to be concerned with all of the various stakeholders. And really, relationship building in marketing is huge, at the center really of everything. It's all about you creating value for your potential customers and having some relationship there. And so to the extent that you do a really good job of that, knowing who your customer is, building that relationship, and then leveraging the information you're able to collect and learn from your customer, you're going to do a better job with marketing if you can do those things. So those are the big definitions and concepts you'll see in Chapter 1. Big takeaways from Chapter 1 that I want to be sure you know. The 4 P's: product, price, promotion, and place. Our book calls it distribution, which it is, but the traditional 4 P's would have said place. And those 4 items make up the marketing mix. So you need to know that for sure. And then also you need to know what are the various factors that impact the external marketing environment. So these are them: competition, economic factors, political factors, legal and regulatory factors, technology, and sociocultural realities of who you're marketing to and the world you're marketing into. And then thirdly, have some appreciation for how impactful marketing is in the world, how it affects policy and international relationships. And it's just amazing when you really think about how important marketing is to understand that. So I hope you'll pull that from Chapter 1. All right, so turning to Chapter 2, these are the definitions that I would think are most important from the chapter and the concepts that I believe are important. Understand the difference between effectiveness and efficiency. So if you're effective, you do a good job of accomplishing your goals. If you're efficient, you do it with the fewest amount of resources necessary. Mission statements drive everything a company does. And so if you do a good job of understanding who you are as a company and what your mission is, that will drive how you set up all of your company strategies, your business unit strategies, and your marketing strategies within each of the business units. It's very important. And finally, understand what a marketing opportunity is. Depending on the circumstances and the industry and the companies involved, the competition, your window of opportunity to capitalize on a marketing opportunity might be very small. So understand what that's all about. Know the difference between a competitive advantage and a sustainable competitive advantage. So the bottom line there is, if you can do something better than your competition, or you have some capability that they don't, and they can't copy it or replicate what you're doing, then you have a competitive advantage that is sustainable. Know what a SWOT analysis is. So basically this is an evaluation of your company's strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. In other words, what are you bringing to the table, and what's going on out there in the world that is either going to potentially help you capitalize on an opportunity or potentially threaten it. Okay, so know the difference between a first mover and a late mover advantage. Sometimes it makes more sense to try to be the fastest one to market. Sometimes it makes a lot more sense to let the other people make all the mistakes, and then you come in after a little bit later and look like a hero because you're doing everything right. So depends on the circumstances. It's all a big game, but just know the difference between the advantages of both. And finally, know the difference in the different ways that Analysts will look at sales data versus marketing cost data and what it can do for you when you're running an operation or a marketing effort to understand really what you can get out of those two things. Okay, so the guts of what's in Chapter 2 have to do more with strategy. And so the chapter will present for you an overview of the strategic planning process, the different levels, and really it starts at the top with the corporate identity, establishment of the mission statement, and the corporate goals. So those are very big picture. Typically, profit centers in a company are organized into separate areas or business units, strategic business units. And so each strategic business unit will typically have its own budget, its own leadership, its own goals, its own objectives. And so that structure really needs to be in place for a company to market effectively. And let's see. Really, to do anything strategically, you've got to know the world you're operating in. So this level here of assessing corporate resources and opportunities is a big deal. That's where your research comes in, and understanding what's going on in the market, what your customers are after, what they want, what they need. And then finally, at the marketing department level or business unit level, you'll have particular marketing objectives. And at this point, this is where you're actually selecting a target market. You're identifying a strategy to approach that market, and you're creating a marketing mix that will best serve your goals there. Okay, so for me, that's the biggest part of this. But the chapter will walk you through the 5 steps of managing a marketing implementation. You're not going to get away from management. Management is everywhere. And so you as a marketer will use your management skills too. You just will. So that's kind of cool. And then finally, how are you going to know if you've done a good job with the marketing effort? So here are some steps for how you can go about evaluating your marketing strategies. And finally, the chapter 2 will lay out for you all of the elements of a marketing plan. And this is really a good place for you to start thinking about your term project. Get your product concept identified. Try to do that early in the term. And then as we go through these chapters in the textbook, you'll have the foundation here after Chapter 2 to really start thinking about your marketing plan. So I'm excited for that. That's it for Chapters 1 and 2 as far as what I think I'm going to talk with you about, at least right now. And so do let me know if you have questions, concerns. I'm happy to help however I can. And I hope you all have a good rest of your week. And we'll move on next week to Chapter